Now let's take a look at this question here. It says that P, Q, R, S, and T are points on the circumference of the circle. PQ equals to QR, PQR equals to 180 degrees, and QRS equals to 99 degrees. Find PTS, show all your working. Now I'm not sure what it means by showing all your working because the mark scheme as well does not state too much about it. So yeah, normally you're not supposed to write down the reasons why you are supposed to do, why you're showing a step in circle theorem. In circle theorem, you're supposed to, yeah, you get the idea. So as a result, so let's just see what we have here. PQ equals to QR, which means this is an isosceles triangle. So each of this angle happens to be basically 2x. If I consider this one to be x and that one to be x, because it's an isosceles triangle, plus 180 degrees equals to 180 degrees. 2x equals to 62 degrees. So x equals to 31. This is 31. So this therefore, which is my PRS equals to 99 minus 31, which happens to be 68. If this is 68, then because we know that all of these are points on the circumference, so this happens to be a cyclic quadrilateral. And what do we know about cyclic quadrilateral? Opposite angles are 180 degrees. So angle PTS happens to be 180 minus 68, which happens to be, yeah, sorry, it's 68. So this happens to be 112 degrees. So where would you gain marks? You would gain marks for showing this little working right here, which happens to be your PRQ. This is my angle. If you show this one, or if you show either one of these, you are supposed to get at least 1 mark. So this is your 112 degrees. You have to show the degree symbol there because there's nothing provided here. Otherwise, you would definitely not need to do this. I've already, okay, I actually have to use this one because I've done this beforehand. Okay. So in this case, what I have to do is that A, B, C, and D, and E are all points on the circumference of a circle center O. AE equals to ED equals to DC equals to CB. Find ECD. So what are these 5 points here? Well, let me show you something. These are actually going to form something quite important here. If I join these points with a straight line over to the center, not just these points, all of these points, you'll notice that because these two are equal, all of these are equal because it's a radius length, it means that this triangle, this triangle, this triangle, this triangle, all 4 of these are congruent to each other. What does this help us to deal with as a result? It means that because these triangles look exactly the same as this way, which means that if I have an angle here, let's say this is x, if this is x, this is also x, this is also x, this is also x, which means that we have a 4x's together. So we have a 4x plus 60 equals to 660. And also it says to show all your working, which means that I actually need to at least just make a mention of things. All right. Which means because we have 4 congruent triangles, then we have these x's here. I have to at least show this much. And then we have here 4x equals to 360 by, no, 300 by 300. So x equals to 300 by 4. So x equals to, I believe, 75. no, it's actually 300 by 4. 2 would give me 150. Okay, that's actually not this answer. This is EOD. I want ECD, which means this angle. Now, here's another thing. Because I know that now I know that I have found out this angle. This is therefore 75, this is 75. And I know that these two sides are, your isosceles there, because I mean, these two sides are equal, which because they're radii. So it means that I basically have this triangle EOC. ECD. Actually, I don't even need to do with this one, because there is another thing I forgot to tell you, which is this is angle from here to the center. All right. I know that angle EOD. I know that the angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference, starting from and ending at the same points, which means that I start from E, go to the center, end at D. This angle, this is X, and this is 2X. And this angle from E to C to D, I start at E, go to C at the circumference, and end at D, this is X. So it means that this is X, this is 2X. Therefore, this is going to be half of EOC. No, this is half of EOD. So EOC, which is ECD. So ECD is half of EOD. So it's going to be 37.5. Now, just like me, you would just end up leaving this thing out here. You just leave your answer to this part, which is definitely not going to be correct. Just see what you're finding and see what you're asked. So then you will be able to get through. The radius of the circle is 12 centimeters. Use calculate the length of the minor arc AB. So the radius is 12, and it says to find the length of this arc. So I have to deal with the radius thing here. The minor arc length happens to be r theta, or actually I don't even need to do that because it's actually in degrees. So it means that it's going to be 60 by 360 into 2 pi into 12. This is 6. This is 4. So 4 times 3.14. There we get 12.56. There we go. That's the answer.